What's going on, guys? This is the Super Scum Show.
Years.
Today's edition. This is what, day 4?
Yeah, I don't even know. I
I don't
started
even know.
starting after day one. To be honest, word. I've just been like, we here. Let's do it.
Facts. And I'm here with my co-host. My name's DJ Superstar, and I'm here with my co-host, Scum Brady.
You're in the building like walls and ceilings. You know the vibes.
Hell yeah. All right, let's talk about our mental for the day. How's the mental?
Straight, man. Good. As long as that air is going through them lungs and shit, and we here. That's all that matters. We good. We winning. That's a fact.
Yeah, I was just thinking today about I don't feel like I've had a bad day in a while, and that's really nice.
Nah, for sure. That's dope. That's dope.
But usually when you start shit's going good.
Nah, for real.
Shit starts going bad. So
I take good days as if when you overcome, like good days could be good days because they're good days, but also when you overcome bad days can be good days. You know what I mean?
I
So,
agree.
word.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the get it off your chest segment.
Yeah. Go touch grass, people. A lot of people need to go touch grass.
Heavy
They're
on it.
yo, they too involved into this internet shit, bro. Like to the point shit like I'm watching people take that shit into their real lives. And I'm not even talking about content creators who I'm talking about people who's watching content. They consuming it so much that to the point, nigga, they think that shit's real life. Now they trying to really like content rage bait in real life, like how they do on the internet. And like that's dangerous, bro. Like what we doing? Like, bro, you know?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, go touch grass, bro. Like, chill out, disconnect for a little bit, cause like people need to get a grip, as old people used to say back in the day. Like,
yeah.
you need to get a grip. Like,
Get a
word,
grip on reality.
please, now, word, nigga, we got our president wilding on online, bro. That's how crazy it is. People just be wilding. Like, nigga, like, did you just say that?
I think it's because there's no consequence for people's actions.
Here we go.
And it's only like that when you catch the racist Karen who gets fired from her job. Shit like that. But that's
Yeah,
how many people are actually getting fired from their job? You know what I'm saying? Oh, trying to reconnect. Hold up.
I think you
I can't
froze,
tell if
but
that's me or Scum. I think it's
she will be
Scum.
back, or maybe I
If you can
froze.
hear me, refresh your
Either way,
page.
we'll be back, yo. I don't know. Yeah, all right. It's super. Sorry, it was me for a minute. Give us a moment, y'all. Give us a moment. Little technical difficulties and all that. You heard?
Peace, peace, peace.
Yeah, I told y'all Super will be back. We'll be back. Little technical difficulties. We'll be
Yeah,
back. Told y'all, man.
we here.
Yeah. Chat gets it.
Okay, and he's trying to join up right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, he came in like probably like 2 minutes ago.
Okay. Oh, and he's gone.
Probably trying to.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Probably trying to like. Because when he first came in, yeah, when he first came in, it said that his mic and camera that they won't allow him to think. So it's probably got to do it again.
Interesting. All right, we'll give it just a minute. What were we talking about?
People touching grass, and you was about to go in on Karens, which is hilarious. But basically, like people they ain't getting consequences for
Yeah,
yo,
yo.
Peace, peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, where? There's a little trouble getting the audio working on my end.
No
All good,
worries.
though. We
My
good now.
shit just reset itself, so
Swag. I seen bro lighten up. Smoke friendly.
yeah,
Yeah, you already know. Facts.
for
That's
sure.
a vibe.
All right, well, welcome on to the Super Scum Show.
Thank you for having me. How y'all?
Good, how are you?
Bless, bro. Bless you.
Love to hear that. You know, end of the year shenanigans.
Facts.
Ready for the first.
Facts. Facts.
Facts. All right, the way we start off our show, we do like a who, what, when, where, why, so people can kind of just, get the basics of who you are. So
Right.
let's start with who are you? Tell the people who you are.
Pause, aka Young Swag. Just another kid from Roxbury who, kind of avoided the pressures of growing up in an urban community and figured out how to turn his raps into a business. Just an artist, entrepreneur, rapper from Roxbury, Massachusetts. Like an irrefutable love for hip hop. Yeah.
Word, fire.
All right, so you kind of answered what you do. So when did you start rapping?
I started rapping 2018. I mean, I've always kind of been rapping, like, kid rapping at the lunch table in high school, just kind of the freestyling thing. I feel like that naturally, like everybody does, but I started really taking it more seriously around 2018 when I kind of was like, I want to like get in the studio. I would say around 2018 is when I started actually going to the studio and recording songs But honestly, it wasn't really until 2020 I actually put out some music, like officially released some music, whether it was SoundCloud or just like the streaming platforms. So it took me a while before I really like, as they say, sharpened the sword and felt comfortable with
Yeah.
kind of sharing with people.
And why do you do what you do?
I feel like the swag, I feel like the easiest and yeah, the easiest, definitely the easiest way to express myself. I often find when I'm like listening to stuff back, I would either like have spoken on or talked about things that don't just come up naturally in conversation or are not the easiest things to talk about. So first and foremost, I think beyond just it being therapeutic, it's just like a very easy way to transmute feelings. But then other than that, I think like I really just an infatuation for the art. Like I love hip hop, I love R&B music. I grew up on a lot of R&B in the crib. Mother playing a lot of like from anything from the Isley Brothers all the way to Faith Evans, a lot of soul music. Grew up on a lot of gospel too, which is even funny enough, but just always having music around. And then growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, like you go outside, you're hearing cars bumping music, the bodegas playing music. Like you walk into the grocery store and the playlist is fire. Like I feel like just the neighborhood that I grew up in, it was very curated in that way where music was a big component. It was like an element of your everyday. I think just being inundated with that all the time and kind of like, in every step and turn. Ultimately, I just like at some point decided to kind of pick things up on my own, and rap was just the rabbit hole that I fell down.
Right.
All right, Scum, you want to go ahead and start off with our questions?
Thanks. So how did you get your name, bro?
Honestly, hooping. I used to hoop growing up, like a lot of people did. One of my coaches went to, like, before transferring to another school, went to a really legendary high school out here in Mass called Madison Park Tech, for the folks like in the Boston area they may be familiar with. Just playing basketball there, and kind of the homies having that name for me, coming in as a freshman, kind of having that name for me as a nickname. It wasn't until like one day in practice that it actually like stuck. When the coach, because folks were calling me by it, calling me Hawes, and till one time that like the coach asked, he just inquired like, yo, what is it that you're referring to him? Because he would normally just refer to me by my name, which is Hassan.
Right.
So it isn't too far fetched. It's like literally just kind of like an abbreviation of my name, which is Hasan, and then you add Hawes, it's just kind of like shortening that. But they're calling me that. He's just like not recognizing it, and so he immediately he just like stops the entire practice. I remember like it's yesterday. He stops the entire practice, calls everybody to the middle court, and he's like, "Yo, what is everybody referring to him as?" Because he just felt like he was left out.
Right.
He felt like he was left out of the swag.
Right.
And Coach Wilson definitely doesn't want to be left out. Don't want no inside secrets going on around his gym and him not being in the know. So one of my good homies, Jalen, he was like, "We're calling him Hawes, coach." And he thought they said Sauce. But we already have a Sauce here. If anybody's from Dorchester, we got a legendary kid. He was a hooper as well. He went by Sauce. That's kind of the nickname that kind of came onto him as he was growing up. And so he started calling me Sauce, and they told him immediately, nah, like it's Hawes. And so that stuck. And from that point on, he was like, all right, Coach Wilson is very infamous for just giving people nicknames and making things stick and just being a big pillar in the community. I feel like it really picked up once he started referring to me as Hawes. And, it just became a thing around the school, faculty, and staff. And then it just kind of carried forward. And that was back in 2013. Yeah, that was like in 2013, in December of 2013. And so it's just stuck ever since. I came up with the actual phonetics of it, the HAAWWS. And that's honestly just like, Snoop is one of my favorite rappers, favorite artists of all time. I just love his brand. And, Snoop got the Snoop DOGG. So that's kind of where the phonetics, the inspiration on the phonetics. But honestly, it's just from hooping, a childhood nickname that, folks from around the way just gave me.
Okay. So who or what inspired you to make music?
Again, I think it's like a callback to the music, growing up around music in a household. I'd say my mother's definitely a big inspiration. Just again, like being inundated with R&B. But the R&B that was very hip-hop-esque too. Like the A. Marie, I mentioned Fave, Mariah Carey, J-Lo, like the folks that were mixing it up, doing records with rappers or allowing rappers to remix their records. And I feel like once I kind of caught a whiff to like what that actually was, I feel like early on I didn't really understand it's just like music, good vibrations. But once I started to pick up on what that actually was, this is insane, like this mix of both worlds. And I think I kind of went down a rabbit hole because I for sure the first rap song I ever heard was definitely a 50 Cent record. I don't know which one it was, but I just know my mother's love for 50 Cent is definitely had to be one of the first
Yeah,
rap records that I heard off rip. Man, it probably was like, if it wasn't the birthday record, it probably was like Many Men or something like that. But then you kind of just like, I went down that rabbit hole, watching a bunch of films, all of the films being like inspired by a lot of black music. It was just over time, like I always felt like a calling to like whether it be just kind of like rhyming in the classroom and whatnot. It's just so I really think the art form itself is what inspired me the most. Because if I'm being like honest and candid, I can't really remember off top a lot of the records like by name that I would hear growing up. I just know that there was always music going on in the background. It's just like a bunch of music for sure.
So, do you think your environment helped mold your sound?
I feel like I make autobiographical hip hop. And what I mean by that is
Right.
just like in the simplest form, I rap about my life. So I'd say it forms a lot of the stuff I talk about. It may be some of the production, but for the most part, I really feel like even like my ear for production is an interesting one because I feel like here in either New England, Boston, Massachusetts, it could be very ambiguous. Like there's not necessarily one sound that identifies or signifies like the area. So I feel like definitely the environment molded a lot of like what I talk about and the way that I talk about it. But I feel like artists like Kanye and Rihanna and like some like musical inspirations are really like the backdrop or the inspiration rather for me, like you know, like shaping what my sound would be, because I definitely feel like I can be experimental. Nothing outside of the confines what would be like my, I guess, like my swag, but definitely like pushing myself to experiment within the realm of Hawes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
100%. 100%.
Do you have like a top three artists that you would want to work with? It could be
I don't have
anybody.
a top three artists that I would want to work with, but I have a top three of just like all time, just like artists of all
Yeah,
time.
Okay.
yeah, that works.
Top three of all time. Like I said, I grew up on R&B. It's like one of the
Yeah.
biggest R&B pop artists in the world. I love her anti album. The last album she put
Mm.
out, that shit was flawless.
Yep.
Yep.
Flawless,
Facts.
flawless, flawless,
Facts.
flawless from top to bottom. Like I play that shit back a lot still to this day.
Same.
Riri.
Hove, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
Definitely come from the tree of Hove. Schoolboy Q. I feel like I could make a whole bunch of honorable mentions and put other people in that place. Schoolboy Q. And if I was to do an honorable mention, Schoolboy Q, because he's like a rapper's rapper for me. I feel like he just embodies everything that it means to be like a rap star or rapper. And I've just always loved his swag from early on. I feel like he's just unapologetically himself. And he stands out amongst the whole TDE crew in a sense, in the same way that like a Kendrick could stand out. Like he has his own brand, and it's even dope just like knowing his story, kind of being the hype man and kind of being that person that can like play their role or play their position and be like a soldier to your brother and kind of like wait your turn for your moment. Always fucked with his story heavy as well. But if I say
Hmm.
honorable mention would be Nip Hustle for sure. Nipsey, just like
Don't let him nip. Facts.
yeah, just this like everything being like for everything to be prophetic in like and you just living your life. It's just like none
Yeah.
other. And the swag is just impeccable. Nip had impeccable swag, and it's a shame that a lot of times it's like people pick up on that. You know, now that he's gone. But it's just like something that I immediately saw, and
Yeah,
I
they
can't even sit
gone.
here and act like I was like overly inundated with the music or like knew about all the releases, but it was more so just like him as an individual and a character that he showed with what he was like, you know, putting out. That was something that I just always like, that always kind of like just gave me something to like look forward to in this pursuit of everything. You know, his thing was the marathon, and so it's just like you like the gems that he would drop, whether it be in the music or it be in interviews. I always felt like that's what I also aspired. I aspired to live in you know and lead by example in the same way that Nipsey did. So
Nice.
I'd say he definitely honorable
All right.
mention Nip Hustle.
Hmm.
Top three producers you would like to work with.
Top three producers. I'd say Overcast. He's new. I don't know if y'all familiar with Overcast. He's like a new producer.
Or
I feel like bro is just like on the heavy like not like I say nostalgia vibe because it has the essence of the like early 90s or I would say rather late 90s early 2000s to some extent, but definitely like a lot of soul inspiration there. I'm
Hmm.
definitely like in a soul bag right now, So I would say Overcast for the soul. If I'm going, I feel like there was a year that I was like heavy in the dance bag, and I still like would love to explore that, but in a very hip hop way. Like I don't know if y'all remember early Neptunes, like the where
Yeah, of
when
course.
yeah when Chad and Pharrell was making that shit that you would dance to, like like that,
Mm-hmm.
like so like
Hell yeah,
working with
of course.
Pharrell, I think would be incredible. And then last, I'm gonna say for last, can y'all still hear me?
Why do I
Did I break
freeze
up
when
there?
other people freeze, son? I be
Could
bugging
y'all hear
every
Am
me?
time.
I moving?
Yeah, you good.
Okay.
You good. You
All
good.
right. Damn, we lost him.
Yo, every time somebody freezes, I start freezing myself. Like,
I'm
Yeah.
like,
yo, that's funny as hell.
hopefully he joins back up.
Word. Yo, I literally just shit.
Like, what's good with this shit
Nigga,
tonight?
yo, I have no idea. Thank God it's not just like, and it's not us. It's the damn thing. All
Yeah.
right, word.
Oh,
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, we back live. Apologies again for the technical difficulties. You know, we
That's
in the
all
No
good.
guys.
worries.
The Wi-Fi's acting up.
We think it's the website.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say on that last joint, I was gonna say No ID. I really like the that 444 album that him and Hov put together. I feel like
Heavy,
very narrative driven. But I
heavy.
was just watching. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it, but Don Cannon has this like new series where he's like interviewing producers one on one and
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
getting a
yeah.
breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just checked out that episode that he did with No ID, and I was just like, yo, just hearing his process for certain things and understanding like how he knows like the social mechanics of him even producing a record of like working between different artists and stuff like that. I just felt like that was just the way his brain was like, he breaks down different concepts. I'm like, I would love to work with No ID for
Yeah,
sure.
you the truth for sure. Yeah, fire.
For yourself as an artist, is it better for you to stay independent or would you want to sign with a label, and why or why not?
You know, it's interesting you ask that. It's a conversation I have with myself a lot, and it's definitely something that comes up in the studio a lot. Like, I feel like sometimes niggas be talking more about that than making music. But it's
Yeah,
funny because I feel like someone expressed to me, it was like, I don't even see why, like, I don't see that, like, why you personally, speaking on me, like, why you would want to sign with a label, like, and, like, just in the way that you move and do shit, like, it probably make more sense for you to just like partner up. So I think it's like the in between. So it's not necessarily 100% independent, but it isn't all the way signing my rights away. So maybe if the opportunity presents itself where um
Like a
a,
publishing
a,
deal?
ventures, well, publishing outside of that's another whole conversation. It's definitely like I was definitely never doing a 2-in-1 to where they getting both my masters and my publishing. That was never
yeah, that'd be
happening.
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Yeah, yeah,
But I honestly like myself, I wouldn't even want my business in the same building. So if like I'm gonna go get a publishing deal, I want to go venture somewhere else and not necessarily like have that tied to the label in any shape or form. But I think I would be interested in like distribution. I think I'd be interested in distribution, like the support and getting the record serviced, having an artist liaison that can help with the things on the internal side, whether they're working at the label or the distributor, or whatever the case may be. But I really think just that strategic partner that can help get behind some of the initiatives and the plans that are kind of like already either in place or that are already being designed, rather than kind of putting my life and my likeness
yeah.
and that responsibility in someone else's hands, and then kind of like leaving that up to them to kind of make decisions and whatnot. And I think that's also personally just like where I am and where my mind is. I don't feel like that much of a need. Like I feel like the label, especially in this day, from what most people talk about in their experience, it's kind of like when you're in need, when you're in a lot of need. If you're an artist that has a lot of needs,
Right.
signing with a label might make the most sense for you. I think just like kind of knowing what it is that like I'm looking for and going for, a partner, a strategic partner, a distro partner, I think would be ideal situation.
So seeing that there's a lot of artists that are like streaming nowadays, would you ever jump in that lane?
To be honest, I kind of like have but haven't. Earlier last year, I did like a kind of one-on-one series, and we live streamed it where I was kind of interviewing artists because I was kind of just like in an interim period. I wasn't really recording any music, and I kind of wanted to still be in conversation, but like bring conversations we would have in the studio that
Yeah,
like most people wouldn't like basically get the inside on or get the opportunity or privilege to hear and be
that's
privy
fire.
to,
Yeah,
kind of bringing them to the stream space. And I did that for a while. What made it dope is we kind of reviewed films that like either the guest had, had been favorites of the guest or been favorite of mine. As far as like something that like ties the show together, like that fabric. But I think maybe in that format, like in the conventional format, similar to maybe like how you guys do this, and like bringing guests on and kind of having those like intentional conversations. But I think for like the IRLs or just like the setup, I'm not sure. I wouldn't. You never say never, right? Never say never. But I think like where I'm at right now, it probably had to be on kind of like on some one-to-one, like artist on artist type of conversation.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I think that you would kind of thrive in a space like that. You're very well spoken for an artist.
Word.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, like you conduct yourself very, very well. Like this is, yeah, like
I would love to see like him and Vince Staples sit down.
type shit.
You know what I mean? Word.
Yeah,
That would
that's
be
crazy.
great
Vince is
dialogue,
another
right?
one of my favorites.
Yeah, see?
His creativity
That
is
would
just so out of the box. Like
be- Yo,
I haven't
Yeah.
I
Have
haven't
y'all
watched
seen the new
season 2
show?
yet, but I'm ready
Oh,
for
okay,
it.
okay.
Vince is that dude, man.
Facts. How do you feel about the current climate of hip hop?
Phil, hip hop's in a great place. It's in a great place. And the reason I say that is because every other day something moves in hip hop, it becomes a headline. It's national or even sometimes global news. So that lets me know, regardless of like, not being Billboard charting, not having rap records on the Billboard, which is also like was not accurate. Like people just had to go do a little bit of research and they saw that there were records there. They just weren't in their normal placement or like, top
Right.
50 or whatever.
Exactly.
But I think like this shift to independence and this shift to direct to consumer and the shift to like really being in tune with your audience, I think is important for hip hop, an art form that was designed and birthed on the corner, birthed in the parking lot. It doesn't need to be this overly commercialized process. So I think that's really great because I think it's going to be another boom for independent just artists and creators, a next wave of folks that come up because of that. And I think this is kind of like leveling, like the, like shit resetting itself in a sense. Like things are resetting themselves. And it's,
Nice.
we coming back to the zero. So it's like now we all at this starting point. It's like, the playing field is still the playing field. I'm not going to say it's going to be an equal playing field or whatnot. I can't, I can't see that far in the future. But I do feel like things are just in a sense leveling out. So people can see what's real and what's what. And I think that's important, especially, when you talk independent artists. But just in general for the state of hip hop, I think knowing what's really real and what's what is important for pushing the culture forward. And I think the culture is just in a culture forward place right now where you have
Right.
artists like, I don't know if y'all have heard of like Mona Leo,
Mm-hmm.
Stunning for Vegas's girl. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that album she dropped was hard and that rollout was
Word.
hard. It's like very reminiscent. And I feel like you have
Word.
like, I compare that to like what Doechii is doing at Doechii's level. I feel like
Oh,
they're,
for real? It's like that?
yeah, like in a sense of like pushing this unapologetic, this unapologetic blackness, this
Yeah.
unapologetic hip hop culture, this unapologetic like I'm gonna be myself, show up as myself. I think that's just like necessary. And then I think they're both great examples because on one end, one person, I believe Mona Leo is independent and she may have like some distribution situation, and then you have Doechii who is signed to a major label, and they're both pushing similar narratives, and the shit is resonating well. So it's just like, someone like who makes that style of hip hop, who loves lyricism, and who just loves people popping their shit, talking that swag. Like, I'm happy. Then you got a bunch of other folks, but I feel like definitely when you talk about the state of hip hop, they're putting it like if they're helping hip hop reach the next height. And I think that's what's great. Where like hip hop is about to go to a new height. While it feels like certain shit is desolate and kind of like what's going on, I think that's perfect. Because then, what comes out on the other side of that is like greatness and just innovation. It's just important too. Like, let's take this shit to the next level.
Yeah.
Right. So there was like this trend, well, not a trend, but something that was said by 21 Savage, I think a couple weeks ago, about the whole F the streets. So do you agree with the whole
fuck
F
the
the streets
streets.
movement? Yeah. How do you feel about that? What's your thoughts on that, if you have any?
I mean, I feel like it's definitely a touchy subject. I mean, and I think it all depends on how you look at it, because there's different components to the streets, there's different levels to the streets. You know, it's definitely not one size fits all. But I think I understand the sentiment he's sharing. Did y'all see that Big Bang interview that with 21 and Big Bang?
Nah, clips. I only seen clips. I
Oh,
didn't see
okay,
the whole
okay.
thing. Yeah, it was like
Yeah, I
3 hours.
did get to. Yeah, yeah. It was a long interview, but I had planned on listening to the album that night. So
Yeah,
like, and which I thought was really dope. Like, I got to give him and his team kudos for. They rolled that interview. They announced the album, and they rolled that interview out with the album. So like, that interview aired at 9, and then the album was available for you to listen at 12 that same
Mm,
night. So like, I
that
think
was a
that
good
was dope
rollout.
because like you got to hear his conversation and then
right.
go
And
like
then
really dive into the
yeah,
music.
yeah,
But
yeah.
nah, I understand Stavis's sentiment. Like from what he's expressing and what he expressed in that interview, like a lot of times, like personally myself, like having homies that died over senseless shit, like cause niggas couldn't get past their differences. Like understanding what that's like. If that's the
Mm-hmm.
sentiment and that's the space that he's speaking from, which is a lot of what he shared in the interview, like then I understand that completely. Now to say what a lot of people had some pushback for was just like, yo, this like fed you, this took care of you. There are these different things, there were these different times where the streets in a sense was there for you. And it was just certain shit that you were perpetuating. So how can you just up and
Right.
turn against it? And then talking about like whether it be his music or his image or whatnot. But I feel like a person could want to change. A person could want to change, and then this could be their step in doing so. This could be like that first turning point. And when you have a platform as big as his, and you want to see people do better, I think like it is important for you to speak up. I personally, we got a brand here, a streetwear apparel brand called 456, and our motto is shoot dice, not people. So I'm always gonna be for anybody pushing for peace. Like, you feel me? I'm always pushing for peace. So I might not go as far as to say fuck the streets, but I also am against fuck the bullshit, fuck the violence, fuck the senseless violence, and fuck anything other than getting to a bag and getting to some money.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been a better statement than "fuck the streets."
Yeah,
Even though he did certain clips I've seen, he did explain it, but at the same time, the clip that went viral is not the explanation. More so, you know what I mean? No context behind it. It was just "f the streets." You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. How
Huh.
you feel, Super? How you feel?
I feel like I can't sit there and say like he's being hypocritical because I feel like he does certain things that like tries to like elevate his community. Like he has that financial literacy program,
yeah,
and shit like that. Like I think stuff like that is important to, bring to your community, especially if you come from a place that doesn't have, a lot of resources.
Yeah,
So from that point, I'm like, okay, sure, the streets, I guess. But yeah, I also understand where people are saying like, don't forget where you came from type shit. So I don't know. It's not a one person thing on how you're gonna make
yeah,
the community a better place, and it doesn't happen overnight either. So
yeah. He got the conversation started though.
for sure.
yeah.
Sure. And that's like honestly, that's a start.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
You know what I thought about the other day when because we talked about this briefly the other night. Remember when he was out there with Amber Rose doing the slut walk?
oh my god.
he's always been for the people.
I know that
Feel
we're
me?
left, but
Yo, that's my nigga said he's always been for the people. That's
Feel me?
word though, for real.
Equality for all. I respect Savage's stance, man. And he's gangster, so who's about to test it? He's actually like that. So it's just like y'all. Do y'all want? Y'all know something? I just found out. This is crazy too. This shit blew my fucking mind. So I forget what it was. It was basically. Do y'all know what it's called when stuff is spelled backwards? Like you can like a word has a not. It doesn't have a double meaning, but like it's if you flip the words, it's like it makes a word as well. Like
Yeah,
when you
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
I don't
so
know
I
what
just
what-
found out that his 21's record Red Rum is basically him saying murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm late. Yo, forgive me. I'm mad late. Mad late. I'm mad late.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this nigga had us screaming murder this whole time. I'm like, yo,
Whole
this
time.
is mind blowing. But
Yeah.
it's ingenious at the same time, so I understand it. But it's like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, my girl had put me onto that the other day, and she was just like, you just now realizing that in 2025, and I was like, yo, forgive me, pardon me. I'm not always hit.
That's
But that shit is hilarious though.
How important do you think social media is for an artist nowadays?
I think it's key, but you can't make it God. And
Mm.
what I mean by that is you can't like you can't give yourself to social media to the point where like you're a person who like I get it. As you get older, you understand more about yourself. But like like you're running into where it's like, oh, my social battery's low, or like I feel like social media, specifically for artists who have to put themselves out there, it kind of push you into the extent of like you putting out so much content and you like giving so much of yourself away all the time. You like people who weren't necessarily recluse and like very extroverted and outgoing, their personalities kind of take a toll and they change and they become very introverted, and it just like changes a lot about them. And I definitely I know how they talk about the lore of the creative industry and entertainment, like how they say it could just change you in general. So I always definitely wanted to like stand firm on who I was coming into this in general. But I think when you add the component of social media, it just like exasperates shit and takes it to an entirely different level.
Mm-hmm.
And people feel like they're like, oh, I gotta be, if I'm not promoting my record, if I'm not making content, if I'm not like putting stuff out on social media, if I'm not connecting, then I'm not doing anything. I think a lot of people like see it in that way as well. It's like that I'm not doing anything or I'm not having any emotion. And I think that's a negative way to look, or I wouldn't say necessarily negative, but in an unhealthy way to look at it. Because then you like, it starts to force you into like, yo, like I gotta, and I never wanted to feel that way or like feel that need. But I do feel like it is definitely key. It's like key component to the overall strategy of being an artist and kind of having a presence. It just has to make sense for you. I feel like I'm very much on the swag tip. I be chill. I'm not sure if you tell by my vibe, but I be more on the chill vibe. So it's like,
oh yeah,
like I use like, and I always say this about Instagram in particular. Like I see it as like a museum for me. Like if I owned my own museum, that's what Instagram is. So it's like not in the sense to just like highlight, reel it up, but more so like I'm an artist, so this is my platform where I communicate my art when I'm sharing something new. For the most part, like that's where I'm debuting a lot of stuff. Because I don't necessarily like have a website at this point. I just like, interestingly enough, just haven't done a website because like I'm like anti using like your name as a website, and I haven't thought of something that's just like swaggy. Like, you feel me? Like Holidaze.com is just like not swaggy enough for me. I'm too swaggy of a nigga for Holidaze.com. I'm not gonna lie. So it's just like in the process, it's very much like everything organically and let things happen naturally and like allow things to come to me, because I feel like even in the art of naming the website, like that's an art in itself. Having something that like that'll be, because it's gonna be a legacy once you get that URL, that's the domain name. Like that's it. So like thinking about it in that sense, like everything is important, but I think it's just like how you use it is just as important. So I'll say definitely key and important social media, but how you use it is just as important. Use it.
Mm-hmm.
Not for sure. And all y'all who try to be fake mysterious, that's not really mysterious, cut the shit too.
Yeah.
A lot of niggas try to be fake weird. You're weird for trying to be weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Word.
Now there is that component too, like, where it's just like the trying to like fake mystique, where you can kind of see through that, and that's beyond social media. Like as an artist, you have to be outside. So like when you run into a person, you could tell if they kind of kind of faking the funk, and like, if the mystique is not, if you're not really introverted, you can kind of like energy knows energy. So it's like you get a person, it's like, yo, that's not you. But it's like, I guess that's another thing. I guess that's what social media is for, though, right? Like, it's the digital world. So, like, how you want to show up in this space, because they have the, like, we used to have, I don't know if y'all was on MySpace back in the day.
100%.
Type, like, MySpace, you built out your page. You have it looking, you feel me? That was before Wix was even, you feel me? We had Wix. He was building out the MySpace page, and that's where people came to your page, and they could kind of tell by your page, like, oh, okay, this is what bro's on, or this is what she's on. Like, so there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is fun though. I love the bullshit.
Word. So what are your thoughts on the hip hop scene in Mass as a whole? Like, what you think?
I feel like we're just coming off of awards season. If y'all familiar, they got the Boston Music Awards that happens every year. It's been happening since the dawn of the dinosaurs. type shit. But that's always fun. I feel like Mass, New England is in a great space. We have a lot of different styles, a lot of different swag coming out of the state right now. And I think it just also happens to be in the perfect time where hip hop is having this global shift. Like, and then also this global conversation. Like, one of the homies was just talking about, I seen an interview that he was doing, and he said he was overseas, and like the reception, like even though, you know, he's on the more on the local tip, like I say, he's still growing, right? The reception to even, you know, the traveling local acts over there, like for you, for them, you're international. So it's like there's this like the perception is different, but then the energy towards the music and the appreciation, the admiration for artistry, I think it's just different internationally. And I don't think that's just like to one country, right? I think that's just like the whole global vibe. So I think the more people are getting, the more creators are getting hip to that and people are traveling, I think that's going to, you know, definitely help increase mass too. Because I want to say, like, I see us really being like the Bay Area 2.0. And while I'm not saying that, like, you know, like Massachusetts is definitely Massachusetts, but what I mean by that is like this need for independency and this demand for like being an independent market and this independent grind and hustle, and people beyond waiting, especially the next generation, beyond waiting for somebody to come and provide, and kind of like, yo, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to figure out how to get some shit done. Like, you feel me? And I don't care how many times I have to try over, like that. Like, I'm just gonna keep going until some shit work and we figure out and we've developed a strategy. And I think that's just like, that's important to highlight, but just important in general. Like, I think like that's something that wasn't necessarily happening before. You had very few artists because of the obviously like infrastructural challenges and not having labels and people that work behind the scenes and so forth. But like in other markets, there was a time period where they didn't have those things either, and niggas just figured it out. They started to figure it out. The South figured it out. Atlanta figured it out. Florida figured it out. It's like not everywhere was LA. Started off like LA and New York. Like other markets figured it out. You have people in the Carolinas now that's popping and figured it out. And I think we're kind of like, you know, figuring out like, you know, what they were doing, what Master P was doing down there, or what Too Short was doing in the Bay Area. And like, yo, and that even if they're not studying specific blueprints, I feel like we're developing our own blueprint of what it means to be an independent artist in this market. And I think like that's about to be a wave. Like, you know, that's about to be the swag. Like, yo, I own my IP type. Like, I'm doing shows, I'm building my audience, and I'm taking shit overseas when I can, if I can, you know. And it's just like, and then with social media and like, you know, because some of like, while my social media take might have been on the reserve side, you have some people who feel the total opposite, and it's like they're into the streaming. So like, I do feel like we're gonna see more artists streaming in the future and doing the IRL shit where people are with them every day. And I feel like that's dope if like, especially if you're into that for entertainment, or just like if you have that type of personality where like that works for you. I think that's like, because content is definitely king. So like that's gonna be just really dope to watch too, because I feel like that helps people tell their story in a way. And we have a lot of unspotlighted stories here, and you know, sometimes it takes people being their own microphone to kind of like get their story out there. So I'm excited for that for sure. Independent market, I would say, for Massachusetts. We the next independent market for sure.
Yeah. Something I noticed just from Mass is like people who were kind of in the spotlight like 10 years ago ish, and like they didn't continue on with whatever they were doing. Like they shifted into different lanes, and I feel like that's what's gonna keep things flowing and keep things alive as we go, because like everybody got to play a role somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, break that down, what you mean by that, like in the shifting lanes, because I feel like I understand you, but I want to make sure I understand.
I mean, I could use myself for example. I was DJing for 10 years and then I was over it or whatever, not over it, but like I just wasn't
Why was you over it?
I felt like it became a job. It became a job more than anything.
I feel that.
Like, and I was already working OD, and like it was just draining me. It was just too much. It wasn't fun anymore. Yeah. So then COVID came, and I was like, now's a good time to just retire. And then I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do with myself? And then I created this so that I could bring people on here and tell their stories, because I've met so many dope, not even just artists, just producers, film photographers, fucking models, fucking like so many different people. Yeah, creatives in general.
Yeah. Now I feel that I do. I have a question, I guess, for you guys, because I'm like, I feel like now in the personality space, did you always see yourselves as personalities when you were even in that other medium? Like Super, you mentioned being a DJ, and it's like, did you see yourself as a personality or transitioning into that, or was it just like,
Yeah, I did. And I feel like
Yeah.
I spent a lot more time on social media because of it.
okay,
And now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, like ever since I moved out of Massachusetts, now I'm in San Diego. I've been here for 2.5 years. Have been very. I'm not gonna say like off social media, but definitely a lot more private. And
yeah,
it's now that I'm trying to kind of get back into social media. Like I feel like I'm a little far removed.
fair, that's fair. What about you, bro?
Yeah, what's the question? My bad. I'm a little high.
Did you kind of see yourself as a like, were you always in a personality space, or were you in a different medium before?
Nah, I'm an artist, bro. So any way I could express myself, like I'll do it. Like if I fuck with it, obviously, I'm not just doing anything. You know what I mean? Like I love
Yeah,
stand up comedy and shit like that, but I wouldn't do stand up comedy, but I would write for a comedian or something, or help write or do something like that too. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah,
me and Super been talking about this for a grip, but she's been doing her thing solo and shit like that. So I was like, yo, you should do something or whatever. Actually, she brought that up, and then we just been cooking,
Yeah.
and
So
now here we are.
yeah, I had a show before this back when I was living at home, and it was Creative Control podcast, whatever.
yeah,
And then I was like, yeah, I hit him up and I'm like, yo, like I want to co-host for this because like I would kind of notice like I would get stuck sometimes when I'm like interviewing somebody or like I wouldn't really know how to navigate it. So I'm like, I need somebody else to like kind of join me. And like we've always talked about just working in general. So I'm like, yo, like let's do this. I know he wants to step into the content space. And like I'm already pretty much there. Like I'd be streaming on Twitch and shit, but like I wanted to have like, a creative outlet to, interview people, talk to people. But
facts.
yeah, and then
Give people a platform to do their thing,
right. And
say they piece.
and mainly for people who don't really get the chance to step on a platform. Like
Facts.
Yeah,
the best thing that I hear when people listen to us is, yo, I just watched that interview of Haz. Like that shit was dope. Like I loved his story. Like I went and checked out his music and his shit is so fire. That's a win for me.
yeah,
Super win.
That's the whole
That's
point of
that's
this. It's not about us
that's
running it up
the way to
about,
go.
views and views are nice, don't get me wrong, but it's about putting eyes on other people and really giving the platform and also the flowers to appreciate you while you're here.
To dope creative on top of that, like dope creatives, bro,
Yeah.
who need that light, that extra light or that light on them. You feel what I'm saying?
Cause
That's what we do.
I and this is not you have to clarify before you start saying some shit. This is not a shot at anybody that has an outlet in Massachusetts, but I feel like the problem with the outlets is that we rotate the same 5 artists. You're laughing, but you know I'm right. Like we rotate the same 5 artists, and it's like, don't get me wrong, like
Yo,
I love that certain people have such personality that you can bring them on multiple times and it's a different show every time, but like let's spread the plate, you know what I mean?
there's more
yeah.
and more.
That's very true too. You know, it's crazy. Someone said like, and like I don't even hate to throw this person under a bus, but it's like they were like, uh, they artists from Mass in particular, it feels like they don't interview well. So he was like, and this is a conversation he had, I guess this person had with like people who have their own media platforms like yourselves, and kind of just like, I guess there's casual conversation about that very reason. Because that's another studio thing, a studio topic that gets brought up, like which platforms pick who. Same way with like the awards and like how they choose BMAs and stuff like that. That's stuff that folks talk about in studio sessions when they should be making songs, but it's just like, it's it's understandable, but I think there's also the I understand that component. I guess is what I'm trying to say is like if the idea is to like yeah get a story, but then also like keep viewers kind of engaged. I won't even say entertain. I'll like step like remove the entertain component, but just engaged. It seems like that's kind of been the sentiment on the side of like the people who are building out networks, because a lot of people are trying to build out networks now, seeing that that's an opportunity in the podcast space. So
Facts.
they're thinking really strategic and just as intentional as a music artist is about their stuff. So respecting that, but then honestly, just like on the content side, like it seems like a lot of people are just interested in what you had kind of mentioned, Super, the people like that are gonna have these different personalities show up and kind of just like give them these moments. Clickbait, everybody's looking for a moment.
Right.
Bro,
Yeah,
it's yeah. A lot of niggas just want to be messy, bro. They choose messiness for the views, bro. They don't really care about the craft, the art, or none of that for real. But you could tell
yeah.
it shows. But shouts to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. Swag.
Word.
So where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, next year?
Next year, we 2 days away. I see definitely more shoot dice, not people. Big 456. So that's across the globe. We trying
Fuck
to.
with that brand. Shout outs to them. I follow them and all that. Shouts to them.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that
Word.
heavily.
Yes.
Just more music, more rap music. Like I've been in the studio. I normally treat I started this process like last year, or not. I wouldn't say process, but like a thing that I'm gonna do towards the end of each year now. Towards like in November, like last couple of days, like or like last month of the year, kind of just like taking time to just do nothing. I feel like I spend a lot of the year doing a lot, and I feel like there's very, very rarely when I'm doing nothing. Like I too often run into people like being like, "Yo, bro, you gotta chill. Or you need to go on vacation." Or like I hate being reminded of that. So it's
Yeah.
just like now I have a response
Right.
in
Right.
in
Right.
November, in November,
Right.
in November each year, in
Right.
November, and then it's just like I don't do anything towards the end of the year. But I have been in the studio. I say that to say I have kind of like been in the studio and stuff like that. So working on some records, but like definitely in a heavy rap bag. So rap visuals next year. Found a new like creative producer and director out here, actually from Oregon. So they're in Oregon right now. Shout out Ruby, but when they get back, inshallah, putting some stuff together, kind of just to roll out and share with everybody going into the new year. But definitely a lot of visual storytelling, 2026. Like, I want to say less and like just kind of like not just be music though, and there'd be a lot of storytelling, visual storytelling, and I won't like say because it's not just music visuals or but just like visual storytelling in a whole. I definitely got some ideas and we got some cool stuff planned. So and traveling, man, I gotta travel. We trying to go see these manufacturers while the tariffs is down.
Feel me? Feel me?
We trying to go get the manufacturers while the tariffs is down.
Right. Well. Oh, I
Swag.
wanted to ask you this earlier, but I forgot. Since you got like a heavy love for R&B, you ever thought about like making an R&B record, or like going in that bag for like a little EP or something like that?
I always kind of like again with like influences like Kanye and Rihanna and like I would
Mhm.
say just I'm not saying like a Rihanna for her being a direct R&B artist, but more so for her being like a pop artist and being experimental, where she can
Right.
give you a Love on the Brain,
Right.
but she can also give you like a Work, like it
Mm.
all in the same album, and that
Right.
album still sound mad cohesive.
Right.
I feel like I create music in a very similar way, in a similar vein. And I feel like I have explored it to what Hawes's extent would be. Like my extent of what R&B would be for like what would come and what would be natural and make the most sense for me with all my
Right.
different inspirations. Because I do think there is like not to put a ceiling on myself, but like also like I'm not the R&B guy. I'm not the
Right.
R&B
Right.
guy.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I love it. I love it. That's honestly interesting because I am the R&B guy. I very rarely listen to rap music. I like
Yeah.
listen like right now. If I was to go like I don't, I very rarely listen to music on Spotify. But if I was to look at the rap, it'll probably be Control or SOS because that's like I literally just been listening to
Yeah.
SZA on repeat. But that's because I also appreciate beyond the music. I appreciate her writing. Like
Right.
really dope writer. I
Yeah.
appreciate dope writers and beyond just like lyricists. Like it don't gotta be Miracle Word.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
don't gotta
Yeah.
be that.
Yeah.
But you just
Yeah.
know how to write dope music, and it's just
Right.
like damn, like that is fire. Like you really said that. Like that's
Right.
crazy.
Would
You
you have
really
a
figured
pen?
out how to say that.
Right. Would you have a pen like for somebody like R&B, like some dope ass R&B shit?
Yeah, I think I'm down to songwrite. I want to do. I feel like I think you asked like in 2026, looking forward to or like more of. just more collaborative sessions with different artists, and whether that be like, you know, musicians, so people playing actual instruments, or other writers and producers, just kind of like working on records and collaboratively songwriting, and then like taking other people's songs and seeing if that can be like, you know, with their consent, obviously, right? Like not just stealing niggas' records, but like working with other artists and make like maybe on ideas that they saw may not be a fit for them, or they thought could work with, like, you know, if I were to kind of like perform them. So like I definitely want to do more of that in 2026, just in general. I think that doesn't happen a lot in mass outside maybe the R&B sphere. I think they're really just collaborating, not as much songwriting, but just like a lot more collaboration in the R&B scene out here. But I think just in general, we need that in hip hop too. Like that's how great records are like created. Is when you have multiple collaborators in the studio. So like hopefully that's something that comes as this new scene continues to grow, and, you know, going into 2026.
What words of advice would you give to an upcoming artist?
Stay hungry and stay agile. Like, stay hungry, stay agile. You got to be committed to this shit, overly committed to it.
Facts.
It's something you have to be overly committed to. It's like, you know what you signed up for. I remember my younger cousin saying that to me it was like late this year. I think it was like maybe September or something, and we were driving somewhere for a show, and it was just like the most hip hop shit taking place. And when I say hip hop shit, that's like my code word for shit is going wrong. Like, this is because like that a lot of times the hip hop shit be just like mad janky, mad ghetto, and it's just like I love it, but at the same time it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? So it's just like the most hip hop shit happened, and it's just like, yo, but this is what we like. This is what you signed up for, and it's still, and you make it. It's what you make of it. Like I feel in those moments, it's like it's what you make of it. So I always, I'm very much an optimist. So like I always like look at the positive things. I very rarely see the negative in things. So just kind of like stay optimistic, you know, and then open minded if you don't want to just be all the way optimistic, but definitely stay open minded, stay hungry, and stay agile for sure.
So what's next for you, man? Let the people know what you got coming up.
More swag in 2026. 6 equals more swag. That's it. We just trying to bring the swag into the new year. So we pushing peace, positivity, more collaboration. Feel me? I don't know if you're on the West Coast as well, but, you know, like, you know, West Coast vibes.
Yeah.
I need to get over to the West Coast.
Thanks.
So like hopefully more traveling. But we gonna be doing a listening session for just some records that I was working on. I would say like for the last couple of months, just to, you know, see how different people feel about some of the new music that will be rolling out in 2026. We're gonna do that in collaboration with Autoplay Audio over in Austin. It's this new like high def listening spot where you can kind of test your music out on different systems and monitors, which I think is dope. I'm very much into like the mechanics of music, and like because I feel like I know we talked about like a sound or whatnot, but I feel like I have a sonic footprint that I'm stamping, and I think in order for that like to be translated in the environment is also important. So I thought it was intentional for like this next go around of records for people to be able to like hear them in different formats and kind of like express or like share like what it makes them feel, or like just kind of what they think about. We're gonna be doing that in January, like literally in like a couple of days, mid-January. So the announcement for that will go up soon. But other than that, man, just visuals, man. Hopefully we might have something at the top of the top. Maybe I'm not sure. I'd have to check in with some third parties.
Be on the lookout, people. Be on the lookout.
Facts. And let the people know where they can find you on social media or your music.
For sure. Young Swag on all platforms is Hawes, HAAWWS, aka Young Swag, Young Swizzle. And all platforms. Hawes on all platforms. You can find me everywhere you got Wi-Fi and cellular service, man. We out here.
Hell yeah.
All right. You have any last words for the people?
Nah. No last words for the people. Thank you guys for having me. This was dope. I love when a conversation goes well too. But like I didn't expect none less. You feel me? We tapped in a while back, and you know we were trying to like put together a conversation. So I'm glad that we got to like finally have that, and just looking forward to the next one. You know.
For sure.
All swag.
All right. Yeah. This is the Super Scum Show. My bad, Scum. You got anything to say?
But yeah, now I was just telling bro, yo, appreciate you for pulling up for real.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
This the Super Scum Show holiday special. Holidays special.
Yes, definitely holiday.
Yep, we'll be back on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 Eastern Standard Time, doing our version of a 2025 recap.
For sure.
Swag.
So
A lot of shit went on
a,
this year.
a lot of fuckery.
Yeah.
So we get to pick right through it. So yay for us.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right, guys, this is the Super Scum Show, and we're signing off.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.